Prabhu. He oversees our monthly donation program, our Sunday Feast car parking, and he also takes classes for the beginner batch on Friday and does book distribution. And he also participates in many other behind-the-scenes services, but he's always working for the temple and working for all of us. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for coming for this Sunday Feast program. We will start with bhajan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance to our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Prabhupada Swami Maharaj, Satyasara Prabhuji, Jai Subhadra Mataji, and all devotees. I offer my humble obeisance. Thank you, Satyasara Prabhu and Jai Subhadra Mataji, for giving me this opportunity. I am not qualified to do this service, but I am doing this service just to purify myself. Please forgive me if I make any mistakes. We will start with the Jai Radha Madhava prayer. Jai Radha Madhava.
Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava. Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha. Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha. Girivaradhari.
Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Thank you, Sarveshwari. Thank you, all devotees. So, today we are going to see the verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 16. Please, if you have a mobile phone, please take it. Go to the vedabase.com, that chapter 13, verse 16. Once you are ready, we can go. Okay, ready? You want the phone? Okay. So you all memorized the verse, I think. Very good. Okay, we'll go with the verse. I'll recite the verse. Bahir andascha cha bhutanam acharam charam eva cha sukshumatvat tat avigneyam durastam chantike chat tam chantike chat Bahir antascha bhutanam acharam charam eva cha sukshumatvat dat avigneyam durastam chantike chat. The translation, do you want, anyone wants to go? You wanna go? Acharam charam yevacha sukshmat tat avijnanam durastam chantike chatat. Mataji. Bhagirandascha bhutanam acharam charam yevacha sukshumatvat avigneyam durastam chantike chatat. Kids,
Bhairantascha bhutanam
Bahirandascha bhutanam
charamevacha
acharam charam yevacha
matvattat avigneyam
sukshumatvat ardat avigneyam
durastam chantike chatat.
durastam chantike chatat. The translation: the supreme truth exists inside and outside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving, because he is subtle. He is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. It's a beautiful verse. I will offer my prayer to my Guru and then we will start the class. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmena Vilitam Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. First, I want to say thank you and also happy Gopastami to everyone. Look at the beautiful, form of Radharani, how today totally different. Blessings. Thank you so much, all the Matatis who put this effort. Thank you very much. Well, first I wanted to give you, this verse, chapter 13 and 16th verse. I want to give you the backdrop of this verse, why I chose this verse, and also what is the situation this verse. In this chapter, then the 13th chapter is called, the title is called Nature, the Enjoyer, and the Consciousness. So this chapter, the beginning of this chapter, very first sloka, Arjuna asked Krishna 6 questions. So, Krishna is answering those questions. The very first verse itself, he asked 6 questions, and Krishna is answering all the 6 questions throughout this chapter. But we are not going to see the entire thing, but I will say you what is important for my verse, but I will just want to give you the backdrop of all the 6 questions. I'm not going to go into detail of any of those questions, but we will see why I am saying these questions. The first question he asked, Prakriti. Prakriti means what? Material nature. So Arjuna asked, what is material nature? What is Prakriti? And Krishna, gave the answer. That answer is there in the verse 20th to 26th verses. If you want to read the 13th chapter, you please go and read it. I'm not going to go into the detail of that. So first question, what is the material nature? The verses, covers from 20th to 26th. In the same 20th to 26th verses, the next question also answered. The next question is, what is Purusha? Purusha means the enjoyer of matter. So that same, 20th to 26th verse, you will find the answer for that, what is Purusha. And then the third question is Kshetra. Kshetra means, field in which one can act within material world. The answer is given in 2nd verse to 7th verse of the 13th chapter. Then the fourth question, Kshetra Jnana, entity which experiences the field of actions. That, for that question, the answer is given in verses, verses 2nd verse to 7th verse, the answer is given. The fifth question, Jnana. Jnana means what? Knowledge and the process of acquiring knowledge. How do I get the knowledge? And how do I acquire the knowledge? Process of acquiring knowledge. For that particular question, the answer is given in 24 verse 24 and 25 are 8 to 12. If you read those chapters, the verses, you will get the answer. Now the important point, the 6th question, Nayam, which is object of knowledge. Object of knowledge means what? Subject matter of knowledge. Okay, I'm gaining the knowledge and everything, but what is the object of knowledge? Who is the subject matter of this knowledge? That is the 6th question. That 6th question answer given in verse 13th to 19th verse. Today we are going to see the verse 13.16. So we are going to mainly focus of object of knowledge. What is the object of knowledge or subject matter of knowledge? But Krishna has given the answer from 13th verse to 19th verse. So we are going to see only one verse today, like 16th verse. That means we are not going to cover all the properties of the object of knowledge. We are going to cover only few properties of the object of knowledge. So that's what we are going to see today. So one more time, I will, Krishna very clearly, elaborately describing the object of knowledge in this verse. One more time, I read the sloka and then we will go into that. Bhagir antascha bhutanam acharam charam evacha suksumatvat tat avigneyam durastam chantike chat chatatat. So in this sloka, we will go on deep into that sloka. We'll see line by line what this sloka says. The first line, Bhagir antascha bhutanam. Bhagir means outside. Antas means inside. Sa bhutanam. Bhutana means every living entity. So the first line says, the Supreme Lord exists outside as well as inside of every living entity. So that is what, Bhagir antascha bhutanam. Then the next line, it says, Acharam charam evacha. Acharam means non-moving. Charam means moving. So not only that, all living entities, moving, non-moving, everywhere, Supreme Lord exists inside and outside. Okay. Then the third line, Suksumat Vat. That means, Suksumat Vat means, he is assumed as the object of matter is assumed as subtle. Tat avigneyam. Avigneyam means, unknowable. Neyam means knowable. Avigneyam means unknowable. So I will tell you why this particular line is there. Suksumat vat tat avigneyam means you cannot see Krishna, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, or knowing about him with your material senses. That's a line. The third line is Suksumat what? That aviknayam. Aviknayam means you cannot know Krishna or you cannot see Krishna with your material senses. The third line. The fourth line is Durastam Cha Antike. Cha Antike. Durastam means very far away. Cha means also. Antike means near. So the third line says, he is Supreme Lord Krishna is very, very far away, but also near us. So the sum of this verse is, this is what it is. So the object of knowledge, we are trying to get to know the object of knowledge. Some of the properties as given in this 13.16 verse. If you read other verses, 13.13 to 19 verse, you will see all the properties. But this is what it is. So after seeing this, even if you read the whole 13th chapter or whole Bhagavad Gita, what do we understand from this? Krishna's qualities, like, he is far away, but he is near. He is inside and also outside. All these things. And also he is clearly say that, you cannot see or knowing about Krishna with our material senses. So what does this say, this particular verse says? All these verses, even not only this verse, the other verses also, if you take anything, it clearly says, the object of knowledge or super soul or supreme personality of Godhead. One thing is very clear to us. All this, what it says, we cannot become Supreme Lord. We can never even dream of what qualities he has. We cannot even have that. So we have to have that mentality. Then only you can reach Krishna. So what Supreme Lord can do, we can never even dream also. So being very far but near, it is very difficult to comprehend also. How come, he is saying that very far, but, people say, here, you are near also. How it is possible for the living entities like us. So, but, but some people say that, I am God. That means they have to prove that, they are very far and also near. They cannot do that. So, but if the same person reads Bhagavad Gita, they will automatically become humble because Supreme Lord is, Agilam, Andam. And also we are Anu. So we can never be the same. That's what, we need to. So before we need to understand the object of knowledge, we need to put ourselves, in a subtle mode. We need to be submissive mode. Then only we can even understand the object of knowledge. That's why I'm giving all these things. So then, like also the Mayavadi says, we cannot become, we can become God. Like Mayavadi says, after merging into Brahman effulgence, we can also become God. No, we cannot. We can never become God. We are not gods. We are gods. G-O-D apostrophe S. That means we belongs to God. We never become God. We are gods. Gods means, we belong to God. So in the purport, it says, in Vedic literature, we understand that Narayana, the Supreme Person, is residing both inside and outside of every living entity. He is present in both the spiritual and material worlds. Although he is far, far away, still he is near to us. This is what Srila Prabhupada defined in the purport. We will see in detail what it says. Inside, here, Supreme Lord is inside. That means our super soul is inside only. So, Bahir, that means inside, Antas, super soul is inside. At the same time, the Bhagavan, the personal form of Supreme Lord, he is sitting in Goloka Vrindavan. He is, outside also. Like, he is outside in the Goloka Vrindavan, but he is also inside in our heart, that super soul. So the same Supreme Lord inside and also outside. That one way of understanding. There are many ways of understanding for this. The Bahir Antastha Bhutana. But the one way is, he is sitting inside as a super soul. Outside, in the Goloka Vrindavan, he is sitting as a Bhagavan. Then another way of understanding what Srila Prabhupada describes in his class, whatever I am covering here, it's in the Srila Prabhupada class. It's nothing my own thing. So in the, the Bhagavad Gita 7.4, Krishna says, Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhir evacha. That's Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, verse 4. This is what it says. The translation of that verse is, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligent, and false ego. All together, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. Krishna clearly says. So all these 8, earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So all these 8 of them are, coming from Krishna's energies only, Supreme Lord's energies. So these are what? Material elements. So 5 of them are gross elements and 3 of them are what? Subtle elements. So for gross elements are what? Fire, ether, water, everything. Air, earth, all those things. All these 5 things are, gross elements. But there are 3 elements, subtle elements. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. If you look at that, our body is made up of these 5 elements: fire, water, ether, air. So this body is outside. But, the subtle elements, you cannot see the subtle element. These subtle elements are inside. But what Krishna says in the 7.4, both of them my energies. So that means what? Whatever is inside, subtle elements, that is also Krishna's energy. Whatever is the body outside, that is also Krishna's energy. So both inside and outside, Krishna. How we can define that? The energy and the energetic, none other same, non-different. Energetic means what? The energy which is come from the source. Krishna and the energy, because Krishna clearly says, those are my energies. The energies are, some of them are inside on our body, some of them are outside. So inside and outside, he exists. That's what the Bahir Antascha Bhutanam. Then again, the mind is within, the intelligence within, the soul also within, and false ego and everything outside your body, all those things. In the, even it defines, 2 kinds of energies. You all know that: inferior energy and superior energy. This material energy is the inferior energy. That's what it says. Therefore, the most important thing, okay, inside and outside. I have the inside Krishna sitting here, outside also. Some of the elements are inside, some of the elements are outside. But what we should do, we should purify this inside and outside. That is the importance of human life. So all the other animals also has these 8 qualities. But after taking the human birth, we should purify that, both inside and outside. Then only you will come to know the object knowledge of Supreme Lord. That's the more idea of this. We are discussing here object of knowledge. Who is the object of knowledge? Supreme Lord Krishna. So how do I understand him? Only when I purify my inside and outside elements. All the elements we need to purify. How I can purify? We need to do some austerities. What are the austerities? Chanting. And even we are doing some Ekadashi Vrata. All those things. Why we are doing all these things? To understand the object of knowledge. To understand Supreme Lord Krishna. How the chanting is, going to purify inside and outside. We are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is not material sound. This sound is the spiritual vibrations. It goes inside our ear and goes inside our heart, and then, it purify all the inside things. How it is our mind and everything, how it is purified, it is taking out all the unwanted desire, material desire. That's how these senses are, being purified. So once, that the chanting and everything you need to do. This life is meant for not to live extravagantly without any responsibility, like cats and dogs. We should be very responsibly. That means, austerity. We need to do austerity. We need to do little austerity. I know in the Kali Yuga, we cannot do hard things like Dhruva Maharaj, or even you cannot go to Himalayas and sit and do, tapasya and other things. First of all, there is no place that, every place nowadays, people are going and visiting them and taking the selfie and all those things. So there is no place, you can go idle and do all these things. So in the Kali Yuga, we cannot do anything, but we can do the chanting, all the other little things, do the service. And the most important thing in the, Chaitanya in this Bhatva Purana very clearly says that, if you do 4 basic things, regulative principles, then you will not, incur any sins. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. If you follow these simple 4 steps in Kali Yuga, then you will free from the sinful thing. That's what it is. So those who are not purified, that means, if those who are not purified are always doing the sinful activities, they are called duskrinida. Duskritina, they are called duskritina, always doing the sinful activities. But those who are doing the pious activities, the opposite of duskridina, they are called sukridina. So, the same person can do 2 different things. Suppose, say, for example, you have money. With the money, you can do intoxication. You can drink liquor. You can do all nonsense things with the money. And you can play gambling also. You can do illicit sex also with the money. You can do all this meat eating also. So you can do all these things with the money what you have. If you do these things, you are called what? Duskridina. But with the same money, if you, do the charity for building the temple, or printing the books for Krishna consciousness, to spread the Krishna consciousness. If you are helping spreading Krishna consciousness with your own money, same money, instead of doing all other illegal, illicit things, if you do this, then you are called Sukridina. But what is the advantage of being, helping building the temple, all these things? What is the advantage? Then you will get closer to Krishna. That's what it is. So, a simple thing, only, very simple thing is when you follow Krishna consciousness, you will be closer to Krishna. Otherwise, you will be far away. So now we will see that this is the first thing in the verse, Chadur Bahir Antasta Chadur Cha Bhutanam. Inside and outside, Krishna lives. So we clearly saw 2 examples. One is as a super soul, and also Supreme Lord sitting in a Bhagavan in a Goloka Vrindavan, so inside and outside. And also this, we have 8 elements, 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. Subtle elements are inside, gross elements are outside, but Krishna says all of them are my energy only. So I am there inside and outside also. That's, all those things. And we saw that, how to purify and all these things. I'm sorry, this. Now we will move to the second part. See how Krishna is far away, but also near. We will see that part in detail. We know Lord is always there in the form of energies. But we understand, Supreme Lord, energy and energetic, which just now I said, energy and energetic are non-different. So in this way, he is very near to us. As an energy, he is very near to us. As but he is sitting at the Goloka Vrindavan in person, so he is far away. That's one way of understanding. So like, the best example always Srila Prabhupada quotes, sun and sunshine. The sun is far away from us, but we can feel the sunshine. But the quality of the sun and sunshine is heat and light. So the sun is also has heat and light, and also the sunshine, what we are experiencing, that also has the heat and light. So we can experience the sunshine, but we cannot go inside the sun, actual sun planet. But we can if we have a proper equipment and other things. That's exactly what Krishna says. Even though I am far away and sitting in Goloka Vrindavan, you can come to me if you purify your senses. But with your material senses, you cannot come to me. Like, even we can enter inside the sun planet. As of today, we don't have the facility. But tomorrow, we may find proper outfit, then we can go inside the sun also, go nearer the sun also. Likewise, if we purify our material senses, we can go to Krishna. That's what the basic understanding of this. So again, if we practice the Krishna consciousness, then you will very nearer to Krishna. But if you are staying away from the Krishna consciousness, then you are very far away from Krishna consciousness. But sometimes, another way of understanding, this is another way of understanding. Krishna is there near us only. But we are Bagirmukh. Krishna is here. And we are Bagirmukh. Bagirmukh means we are turning our face opposite. He is very closer. But we are the one not seeing the Krishna. So we are thinking that, we are far away from Krishna. I'm not seeing God, or I'm not seeing Krishna anywhere. The reason is you are turning back. You just need to turn this side to see Krishna. But we are not doing it. Even I was also like that only. From the birth. From the birth, I was also like that only. But with, some senior devotees, Rohini Mataji, Abhay Charan, and Abhay Kulkarni, Guruvani Mataji, and finally Satyasara Prabhu, they are the one who showed us, what is Krishna consciousness, God, true God concept. So if you see that, in the inside the flight, have you ever noticed that, this statement, in case of emergency, you approach the exit, the nearest exit may just behind you. Exactly I was like that. From the birth, I was looking for God, going here and there, and going to the demigods, all those things. But the exit is behind me. It's like Satyasara Prabhu, he lives in my community. I did not know him all the time. Everyone was there in my community. I just turned back. He was standing there and he gave me the knowledge of Supreme Lord. And I absolutely surrendered that. This is exactly what Krishna says. I am near you, but you are not looking at me and you are saying that you are going far away from me. Please come back to me. This is exactly what we are doing in the book distribution also, preaching also. When we go for the distribution, some people turning back to us. Some people still say that, no, I don't want to look at you. I'll go away from you. Then perfectly fine. Krishna will bring you back one day. That's what it is. So, in the purport, the third, so we define how Krishna is far away and also near us. We define that also in the verse. We define Krishna is inside and outside also we saw. And now we saw that, Krishna is far away and near us. Now we will see the third part. The third part, what it says. The third part is, you cannot see Krishna with your material senses or know about Krishna just with your material senses. In the purport, it says, he is always engaged in transcendental bliss. We cannot understand how he is enjoying his full opulence. The meaning behind in this, with our material senses, we cannot understand. There are some of the pastimes, transcendental pastimes between the Radha and Krishna. But what we think that, because our senses are contaminated, we think that why Krishna after marriage going behind Radha? That's a mood we have. If we understand that's a past, transcendental pastimes, then we won't have that questions at all. Any pastimes you take, even we are celebrating Damodara Akshara this whole month, Damodara Leela. That's a beautiful pastimes. In this pastimes, there is a one class I saw recently, 13 contradictions. Krishna. That is a contradiction, 13 contradictions in the Damodara Leela. I'll tell you what are the contradictions, but why this is contradictions. Like in the Damodara Leela, we say always Krishna is what? Absolute truth, supreme truth, Satyam. Always we say that, Krishna is absolute truth. But he speaks lies. When Mother Yashoda asked, did you steal the butter? She said, no, I did not. He speaks lies. It's a contradiction. Then the another one, Krishna is the supreme proprietor. This entire world, material world, spiritual world, everything belongs to him. And he is going and stealing for butter. It is him only, but he is going and looking for butter in every small houses also, in the Goloka Vrindavan. He is Atmarama, self-satisfied. But he says that I am hungry. It is total contradiction. Then fear itself gets fear when fear looks at Supreme Lord. But the same Supreme Lord gets fear, look at Yashoda Mata when she has stick in her hand. This is also contradiction. And Krishna is condensed bliss. Condensed bliss. But he cries in Damodara Leela. Krishna is softer than rose, harder than thunderbolt. But here, here he is, going very soft and all those things. And when Krishna speaks lies, you feel that it is a lie. When Yashoda Mother asked, did you steal the butter? He said, no, I did not. And Yashoda Mother asked again, did you feed the monkeys? Because he was the one feeding the monkey. Did you feed the monkey? Then he said, no. Then how come monkey is having full of butter, a mouthful of butter? And he said, whoever created, they gave, don't ask me. One way it is truth also, because he is the one who created the monkey. One way it is truth also. So if you go deeper into that, then you will understand. And then the Krishna is a liberator. He liberates everyone. But he could not come out of the Mother Yashoda's rope. He bound by the rope. He can come out, but he shows that, I am bound by this rope. And he is sitting quietly with that wooden mortar for some time. But he liberates Nalakivera and Manikriva. But he cannot liberate himself from that Yashoda Mother's bond. So he is the supreme judgment. But he waits for the judgment from Mother Yashoda. So he asks him to stay at one place and he is waiting. So this kind of, and also he is the object of prayers. Everywhere you see, in whole Bhagavatam, all prayers, Akrura prayer, Vidura prayers, everywhere, each cantos have so many prayers. Everyone is praying, but Mother Yashoda is scolding him. It's a total contradiction. But the thing is, he is also peace personified, but he gets angry also in Damodara Leela. So that the Damodara Leela is, many more contradictions are there. But all these contradictions with one statement, Krishna can conquer everything, but the devotee can conquer the Krishna with his love. So out of Mother Yashoda's love, he, even though it is contradiction, he is allowing them, to do that pastime. In the another example, also, we saw that another example, Arjuna. He is Supreme Lord, but he is, accepted to do the driver service, chariot service. That's only because of the pure love from Arjuna. Great devotee, pure devotee. So, Krishna is always, when you show pure devotee, You can go beyond me. That's what Krishna said. You can control me. Krishna is the supreme controller, but Mother Yasoda controls him. That's because your Mother Yasoda's pure love, Vatsalya Rasa. So all these things, if you want to, whatever the verse we are discussing now, we are discussing about the object of knowledge. That's what we are discussing. But all these things, how do you understand that? You can understand only through Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. If you read on your own Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and everything, you will definitely will have concatenated thoughts only, impure thoughts only. But if you hear it from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, Acharyas, you will get the clear understanding because you will have a purified senses. So the Supreme Lord, here, Supreme Lord is always blissful because his form itself blissful. Ananta Bhayo Abhyasha. That's what it is. So this is the reason in all his pastimes, he is enjoying all opulences, Krishna. But for conditional souls like us, it is very difficult to comprehend what is that Lord is enjoying. It is very difficult to comprehend. In the purport, it is mentioned, we cannot see or understand with these material senses. That's what the third line we saw. Suksmat what? Cha antike. Sorry, Suksmat what? That's the third line is, avigneyam. You cannot see or you cannot know about Krishna if you have material senses. That's what it is. Now, the reason, so we cannot see with the material senses, we cannot see that why, what happened to us. Let's try to understand this. As we discussed this many times, we all know that when we came to this material world, when we touch with the matter, we have become contaminated. Everything is contaminated. Our legs, eyes, ears, everything, entire consciousness, everything is contaminated and covered. Then one may ask, how come with these contaminated senses, I can grasp the Supreme Lord's, love or Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. With this contaminated sense, how I can grasp Supreme Personality of Godhead? It is said in Shastra, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 17, verse 136, it goes like this. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahayam Intriyaya Sevan Muho Hi Jivadu Sevayam Eva Radi Ataha. So the translation of this verse goes like this. The material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders a service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. It's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. It says, so, Ada Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavat Grahayam Indriyaye. That means one cannot understand or appreciate Krishna's name, form, qualities with the material senses. In order to understand his name, form, qualities, pastimes, one should engage in devotional services. Like the devotional services, like what? Using his tongue to chant. That's where it's beginning. Eat Lord's remnants of the prasadam. Whatever we are doing, Krishna consciousness, we always offer to Krishna and then we take the prasadam. These are the simple things to start with to purify your senses. So when we do this, when we do this devotional services, I'm doing this devotional services, what will happen for me? That is also clearly given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 19, verse 170. The verse goes like this: Sarvo padi vinir mugdam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchayate. Such a beautiful verse. So when I do the chanting, when I do all these things, what will happen for me? So in this verse, it clearly says, when you use your Rishika means senses. When you use your senses in service of Rishikesa, when I use my senses in the service of Rishikesa for Supreme Lord is whom? Who is Supreme Lord? He is the controller of the senses. He is the master of senses. So what happens? Our senses will become purified. As I said earlier, when I chant, the sound vibrations, spiritual sound vibrations goes inside my mind, and he is taking out all the unwanted material desires and putting the real desires to reach Krishna. So this is what exactly said in this verse. Our senses will become purified. When senses are purified, then we will be able to perceive the Lord with our purified senses. Without purified senses, you cannot perceive the Lord. Whatever the devotional services we are doing now is not a devotional service. The devotional service is starting when your senses are purified. So right now we are doing endeavor. Whatever we are doing is an endeavor to become pure devotee. Endeavor to become pure devotee, chanting, all those things purify our senses. Once it is purified, then only the actual true devotional service starts. That's why Satsara Prabhu in one class said, if your senses are purified, they don't need the, deity worship or anything. Because they see everything as a Supreme Lord. We see that Krishna and Radha, at least myself, I'm seeing Krishna and Radha is, deity form in awe and reverence. But, if my senses are completely purified, I see as if I am seeing the Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan in person, Radharani also. I will see as a true in-person qualities. Because my senses are, right now my senses are not purified. Otherwise, that's the reason I am seeing that, in a deity form. So, in one of the verses, so when we become a pure devotee, then perceiving the Lord is just there all the time after becoming a pure devotee. Then, in one of the verses, Brahma is saying, one whose eyes are anointed. Anointed means, rubbing with oil. When your eyes are anointed with love for Krishna, then they can see Krishna all the time, eternally and constantly, without any break in their hearts. So what you need to have the ointment for your eyes? Krishna's love, prema bhakti. Prema. If we have the prema in our eyes, anointed with love, then we can see Krishna and constantly and every time. The same thing is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, 54th verse. Bhaktaya Bhaktayat Ananyaya Sakya Agam Yevo Vidorjuna Jnanatum Drastum Cha Tatvena Prevestum Cha Parantapa. So the meaning of this verse is, translation goes like this. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So what it says, only with the undivided devotional service. Undivided devotional service only you can see Krishna and you can understand the mysteries of Krishna's understanding. That's what Krishna clearly says. So you can see Krishna and know Krishna only by undivided devotion, which is called what? Ananya Bhakti. When you have that Ananya Bhakti, you can see Krishna and also you can know about Krishna very clearly. So undivided devotions, that as said in this verse, that 11.54, undivided devotion. That means what? Fix your mind on Krishna, which leads to spiritual growth. And then the jnanatum, it said the knowledge. Knowledge means what? I need to understand, I need to gain the knowledge about Krishna. That means what? Understanding the Krishna's nature. That's what the knowledge is. And the vision, drastum, direct perception of Krishna only possible through devotion, not just intellectual understanding. You cannot understand only with the, devotion you can understand Krishna, not with the intellectual. Even if you have a PhD degree, you cannot understand Krishna. Krishna has to reveal himself to you. For that, you have to have a undivided bhakti and, divided devotional service. And then the pravestum, that, intimate union with the Krishna. That is, devotion fosters deep connection. Devotion fosters, deep connection. Then you can understand that Krishna's divine nature, evam vito, as said in this verse. Evam vito means, beyond human comprehension. We cannot understand Krishna's nature with our material senses or another thing, but we have to have a pure devotion. So what is undivided devotion? Undivided devotion means single-minded dedication to Krishna. We should not think about anything else. And then unwavering commitment. Unwavering commitment means, I have to have unshakable faith and loyalty toward Krishna. And then the selfless love I should have. Love without the expectation or personal gain. Then constant remembrance, continuous thought of Krishna. Then the surrender. Complete submission to God's will. Not my own will, God's will. So these are the 5 factors. Exclusive focus you have to have, single-minded focus on Krishna. Then you can understand. Unwavering commitment, that means unshakable faith. Then selfless love, then constant remembrance, and also you have to surrender. Surrendering means what? The surrendering, we do the surrendering. Surrendering means we need to, I will tell you this example. I read in one place. We come to temple, as soon as we come to temple, we pay the obeisances. That means we are surrendering. We are putting our legs, hands, everything. So outside body, the gross elements, we are surrendering. Are we surrendering our inside mind, intelligence, ego? No, we are not doing that. So our obeisances should be like this. The sannyasis, they always have one dandam in their hand. Dandam is a stick. If they leave the stick, without any attachment, without any restriction, the stick falls on the ground. Like that, we should pay obeisances without any attachment, internally also outwards. But after paying while paying the obeisances itself, we have a lot of attachments. All those things we do that. But what Krishna says, when we pay the obeisances, we should not have anything inside or outside. We should surrender our free will to Krishna. I should not have any free will. I am surrendering to you. I will do whatever you say. That means our guru, our acharyas. So that's, they are the one who is going to take. Whatever I said for Krishna, all is applicable for our guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and everyone. So if we follow Satyasara Prabhu's instruction, I am guaranteed we will go back to Krishna. This is the highest devotion. The Srila Prabhupada, I wanted to quote one Srila Prabhupada quote. He says regarding this devotion, highest devotion. The highest devotion is to serve God without any motive. This is Srila Prabhupada says. Highest devotion is to serve God without any motive. This is Srila Prabhupada quote. And Maharaj, Romapada Swami Maharaj also gave the quote. Undivided devotion is the key to unlocking spiritual treasures. This is Ramapada Swami Maharaj quote. Undivided devotion is the key to unlocking spiritual treasures. So if we have undivided devotion, we can open the treasure and we can enjoy. That's what it is. So finally, what I want to say here is, what we understand is the supreme personality of Godhead in the personal form, or the feature of that personal form, the supreme soul. With all these wonderful qualities, so I conclude he is the object of knowledge here. Whatever we have seen, inside and outside, far away and near, how to develop or purify our material senses, all those things, what it concludes is this statement. The supreme personality of Godhead, or the feature of supreme soul, being supreme soul, is there with all these wonderful qualities, and he is the object of knowledge. So this is what that the 13th chapter from verse 13th verse to 19th verse, but we took 13.16 verse, some of the qualities of the Supreme Lord, but that few qualities itself prove that Supreme Lord is the object of knowledge, subject matter of knowledge. That's it. If I make any mistakes or anything, please forgive me. I said whatever is there in Satsara Prabhu and Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada lecture only. It's nothing, it's my own. Maybe the way I said it is different, but it is all, taken out from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all those things. Any questions? The reason I finished my class little early is we attended one, myself and Sarvesri attended one class. There that the Prabhu said, finish the class 2 minutes, 3 minutes earlier, so that all the attendees will be happy. I see after finishing my class, everyone become, straight, sitting straight. So I wanted to give that, at least that experience. Maybe my class might be boring, but I wanted to give that, the experience. So I just wanted to finish that little early. If any questions, please.
So Prabhu, you said the way you presented the class may be different, but the way that you presented the class was really appreciated, Prabhu. That is really nice. So I think we should give one round of applause for Prabhu. So it's okay, Prabhu, that we read Bhagavad Gita and the way you explain, the God is, it's within us and He's outside. But amazing, and then the object of knowledge, Lord Himself says like Sarvascha Amriti Sannivishto, and then He says Vedescha Sarvaira Ahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krata Veda Vedaham. So amongst all the things from whatever you read, it is me to be realized. So He is the supreme object to be realized. And you presented it in such a simplified way, Prabhu, that anybody can understand. So really appreciate, Prabhu. Very nice class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Any question?
I would ask clarification of one point that you made when you were given the analogy of the sun planet being far away. And of course, its qualities are heat and light. And we, being far away from the sun, can experience heat and light here, the same qualities of the sun globe itself. And I think you said that we are not able to go to the sun planet now, but maybe someday when we have the right apparatus or the right armor or whatever. Would you clarify that point, please?
No, what I said is, the scientifically we are improving a lot. So even some time back, uh, NASA itself, once you launch the rocket, you cannot bring it back as it is and relaunch it with the same launching post. They said that, it is impossible to bring it back as it is for relaunching purpose. But recently, Elon Musk proved that, he can bring it back as it is and he can do the relaunching, So the scientific thing, every day is developing. Today, we may not have proper equipment or anything to go nearer to the sun planet because of the heat of the sun planet is really high, but we don't know the future. So I don't want to say here itself, we can never enter inside the sun planets. If tomorrow, if somebody comes and, prove that, then I may be wrong. So in the future, in the material world, I am leaving it all open. But, in the spiritually, what we need to understand, we can also go back to Godhead when we purify our senses. In the material world, even reaching the sun planet, today it is not possible. Tomorrow may be possible. But reaching Lord Krishna is absolutely possible if we purify our senses and if we follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra's instructions. In this very life itself, we can go back to God. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. Except for the point about going to the sun planet in our present existence, it would require a fire body, and we're not able to do that. Srila Prabhupada explains in the Easy Journey to Other Planets that the way to get to the other planets is to purify ourselves and qualify ourselves for entrance into that planet. And he gives the example that even though they may have gone to the moon. Let's say they did. What is the evidence? So you can go there, perhaps, but did you enter the moon planet? You didn't see Indra, you didn't get qualifications from Indra or his associates, so you didn't really go to the moon. So in his books about Easy Journey to Other Planets, he's saying we have to qualify to go, and he used the examples of the yogis. Once they purify themselves, they're able to go to any place they want. So my understanding is that we'll never be able to go in this present form because we can't develop a fire body. We have to develop a fire body by consciousness and by meditation and by permission to enter that planet from the sun god. But we Vaishnavas, we don't waste our time with that. We're concerned with Goloka Vrindavan. So I take that aspect of your explanation to heart.
And Prabhuji, you want to say?
Yeah, absolutely correct, Prabhu. That's what Prabhupada said. So if you want to go to higher planets, you need to have a qualification. So that is not material qualification. It has to be spiritual. So the yogis go to different planets and whatnot. But as you said, our goal is to reach Goloka Vrindavan by devotional service. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I will speak a few points that I found interesting of your class, if that's okay. The first point was, I loved your example of the flight, where in case of an emergency, find your nearest exit. And sometimes that might be behind you. So everyone's looking for God somewhere far away, or like some sort of happiness somewhere else. But like Prabhu said, Satyasara Prabhu was like in his neighborhood right there. So sometimes he's like in the most unexpected places that's like very close to you to help you. The second point was, it's a very simple point, but the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is like a spiritual sound, which will cleanse your senses and your energies and bring you closer to Krishna, whereas any other sound is just there for, I guess, emotion or like material, like senses or knowledge or things like that. So with that, we'll say the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhu one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So next up, we have Aarti. And if you haven't already taken a look at the deities, yesterday was Gopashtami. So Radharani is dressed like a Gopa today. So I would like to thank all the devotees that helped decorating the deities in the last few days. And please make sure you can take a wonderful look. Today is also